Hello, friends. This is the final reflection on the Lord's Prayer in Matthew 6. And I genuinely hope that you have found what we've done over the last few days quite helpful and also enriching for your prayer life. And today I will be focusing on verse 13. But before I do that, I'll just read the verses again. And this is verses 7 to 13. And then give the thought off the back of that. So here is the reading for you. Now, when you pray, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, for they think that they'll be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. Pray then in this way. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us today the bread we need now. Forgive us the things we owe, as we also have forgiven those who owe us. And do not bring us to the time of trial, but rescue us from the evil one. I have found that verse 13 of the Lord's Prayer can be confusing if not well thought through. The reason for this, I think, is that this is one of the cases where the translation from the Hebrew to the Greek is compounded by a further translation into the English. As a non-native English speaker, I come across this a lot, especially when I want to make a joke, which sounds funny in my head, or even in my language, but the humor fails to translate into the English. So here's what I think you need to know. And it is two Hebrew phrases. The first is the phrase translated as lead us not, which is the Hebrew phrase tevi'inu. And tevi'inu is best rendered as do not allow us or as redirect us. Okay? And the second is the phrase masa, which is correctly translated as temptation, but the English fails to communicate the fact that the temptation in question carries with it the sense of an inner impulse to gravitate towards self-gratification. So for instance, Masa is directly used to name the place where the children of Israel rebelled against God in the wilderness. And this is in Exodus 17, verse 7. That is to say, they yielded to their inner sense of self-gratification. In this sense then, Matthew 6:13 is best translated as, and do not let us fall into the hands of self-gratification, or redirect us from our inner impulse to gravitate towards self-gratification. With that translation, I think the next part about evil makes better sense. And that it implies we need God to save us from evil, who, and which, in this particular case, takes advantage of us when we have fallen into masa. So there's us and our inner impulse, and then there's evil, or the evil one, who takes advantage of us when we are in a vulnerable state of masa. In one line then, when we pray and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one, we deliver brutal honesty about our own vulnerability to self-gratification, while in the next, we call on God's help to deliver us from a predator that likes to take advantage of us in our vulnerable state. And then a question. What does falling into masa look like for you? And how does praying for God's protection provide comfort and hope in these areas?